Thank you for staying with us on the program. The conversation at this moment will center on Nigeria's Global Governance Performance Index, especially now that the ranking for the 2026 is out. And unfortunately, Nigeria performed poorly without even making the first 10 best governed country in Africa. And this ranking is usually premised on four parameters of rule of law, press freedom, political rights, and corruption. Joining us for this particular conversation is Lukman Owolabi, is a public affairs analyst. It's a pleasure to have you.
My pleasure to be here.
Okay. The World Economic Governance Index 2026 ranked the best governed countries on four parameters, like I said, which is rule of law, press freedom, political rights, and corruption. It ranked data on a 0 to 100 scale, where 0 means bad or very poor, 100 means very good. It also graded countries on an A to E scale, where A is very good, A is very, very good governance, B is good governance, C is average governance, D is poor governance, and E is very, very poor governance. Globally, Finland ranked first among the best governed country with a governance index of 9.80. It scored 100 in the rule of law, 93.4 in press freedom, 100 in political rights, and 98.7 in corruption. Of course, Finland is followed by Denmark, Norway, and in Africa, we have countries like Gambia, Ghana, Botswana making the first 10 in Africa. Unfortunately, Nigeria is nowhere to be found. Looking at this global governance index vis-a-vis the 2026 ranking, is this a true reflection of our situation in Nigeria when you look at those parameters?
Yeah, those parameters are simply about perception. I mean, and when you talk about perception, Nigeria is up there in Africa. I mean, when anything happens in Nigeria, everybody hears. Everybody gets to know what goes on in Nigeria. Even Nigerians themselves are that very vibrant. Their presence on social media and all sorts, they will talk. Absolutely free to say anything they want to say. So most of the time, it's about what they see and what they hear. So when you hear things about Nigeria every time, it registers in your medulla oblongata that, oh, Nigerians, everywhere, and we are loud. On social media, it is Nigerians that will lambast Nigerians. There are a section of them will even call Nigeria a zoo. You know, all those kind of things. So people all over the world hear these things, and we are all over the place. It is Nigeria. How many people we hear about Mauritius? What will happen in Mauritius? I think the first country in Africa that the one they graded first in Africa. Cape Verde. Cape Verde. What do you want to hear about Cape Verde?
But what about Ghana?
Ghana
made the list.
Ghana did not make the first five.
And not the first five, yeah.
Not the first five. But I mean, you see, when you look at even all those countries, the other countries, global, Finland, Denmark. I mean, those are countries that are bogged down by cold. They don't have time for any other wahala. Will those people in Finland go out to protest? Will they do any other thing? They are bogged down by the weather. You see that they are all first 4, 5. They are Nordic countries. Finland, Denmark, Sweden. You know.
And in Africa, Cape Verde, Mauritius,
those are countries that
South Africa, Botswana,
that do not
Ghana,
even hear their own voice.
Senegal, Malawi, Sierra Leone, and the Gambia.
So exactly. Essentially, what I'm saying is it is about perception. It's about what you hear. I mean, Nigeria is the biggest country, most populous country in Africa. Nigeria has the largest population of black people on earth. It is 230 million strong. They are all over the world. You must hear. In fact, if you are using all these parameters, because of the density of our population, Nigeria should be last in everything. So I'm even surprised that, because see, out of every 6 Africans, 1 is in Nigeria. So you are bound to hear us, whichever way. How can you be comparing countries like Cape Verde? Cape Verde, the population of Cape Verde is not more than Shita and Surulere. And then you are calling that a country and rating that with Nigeria. Mauritius, what is the population of Mauritius? 1.3 million. Not just a little over the population of Surulere. Even Namibia, 3 million. Botswana, 2.4 million. That's the population of Alimosho local government. And you want to be comparing that with Nigerians. It's not possible. So I always fault their perception index because it is basically about perception. So when you are talking of press freedom, you are talking of rule of law.
Corruption.
I mean, what kind of corruption can go on in Cape Verde, where the population is not more than those in Akerele's extension in Surulere? So what will happen there? So it's the index is unfair when you look at it on the scale. So to me, it's no big deal because the bigger your head, the greater your head.
Are we not corrupt as a nation?
That's what I'm saying. It is bound to happen because of
we act lawless. The rule of law is never respected.
Impunity. See, there are bases to agree that those things are happening in Nigeria. And my own is that it is not a surprise that it is happening. Because when you have a population of 230 million people, you have a country as big as Nigeria, 923,000 square kilometers all over, 250 ethnic groups, more than 250 indeed. And they came together not by choice, but by the will of the British. And they wrapped everybody together. And they are struggling for so many things. They are struggling for power. They are struggling for this, they are struggling for that. And it is, I've always said it that, and we want to practice democracy. So it is not easy for us to practice democracy because it's not our culture. Democracy is not our culture. I mean, we are most of us in Africa, in this part of the world, we have Babasokwe people. We are, Kabiosi.
As your lordship places.
That is the way we were brought up. So trying to make us democratic, it's actually a long shot.
Possible.
It's actually a long shot because you really cannot have democracy without Democrats. It's a culture. So we are struggling with all these things because it's not part of us. I'm not saying those people are wrong in their perception. I'm just saying this is the reason why it is so. So you cannot have 230 million people crammed in a space called Nigeria that is not homogeneous and not have all those things. And you see, in Nigeria, because of our population, because of the kind of impunity, that goes on. I mean, look at the correctional centers, for instance. About 64% of those in correctional centers are waiting trial. So you can imagine. And it's also part of the, impunity that goes on. Look at the traffic. I saw it in the papers today that Lagos State government was warning
those taking
BRT lane. So we are lawless. And people who make effort to even try to say no, they will turn you into a villain. When somebody is taking the BRT lane now and another tries to stop and say, why are you doing this? You see the crowd of people that will say, waiting, kilo coin.
What's your own?
What's your own? So we are lawless like that. So to keep us in check, we will have to get someone who is like a dictator. And a dictator in the present setup of Nigeria is also a time bomb. Because there are so many people that will say, no, yes, this, that. I mean, that is the way it is in Nigeria. So we need to, I've said it, we need to enforce our laws because we have laws. So regardless of what people say, regardless of what anybody thinks, we should respect our laws. And we have to be ingenious in the ways we enforce these laws. The other day, I was talking about the BRT lane. And people who take the BRT lane, policemen, soldiers, everybody, danfo drivers. So when they see that everybody is taking it, they will take it too. Because they know that even if they are caught, they can say, Ogbeni, manage this 2K now, you know, and they will leave them. But the ingenious way to do it is that you put spikes there. So it's only BRT bus. When the BRT bus is coming and it signals to the spike will go down. And then the BRT bus will go. But any other vehicle that is not a BRT bus,
the spike will come up.
The spike will come up. They won't tell anybody the next day not to take it.
Absolutely.
So we have to be ingenious about the ways we do these things. I mean, people that are lawless. I also
let's go further. Nigeria, according to this ranking, is on grade level D, which is very, very poor governance. It means that it's among the countries in the world with poor governance category. It ranks 112 in the world with a governance score of 33.9. The country scored 2.50 in the rule of law, 4.13 in press freedom, 52.4 and 17.1 in political rights and corruption, respectively.
So corruption is 17%.
Yes.
I mean, that's they are right. They are correct in the assessment. Everything we are talking about is about impunity, is about corruption. So not only financial corruption, but all kinds of corruption. It is correct. Then the political rights. Political rights. See, we have 18 political parties that are. I don't think anybody is being repressed in that way. Not to, be in their own cocoon of political. You can join political, unlike a country like South Africa. I know South Africa, I think, was ranked fourth in Africa. South Africa has about 300 political parties. About 11 of those are in the formation of national government. So that alone, because of the kind of parliamentary system, that is prevalent there, some parties, can come together, because if you don't have enough seats here, you cannot be in commanding position. So you have to align with other political parties. And that's the kind of system we also practiced in the First Republic. So that is also, a plus for parliamentary system. It encourages inclusiveness. But the presidential system is like a winner takes all. So in a winner takes all situation, when you win, you win. Everybody else.
And when you lose, you lose.
Yeah, you lose. Everybody else go and sit down. So when you have about 300 political parties, about 20 of them are active. So that's the kind of thing they probably want Nigeria to have too. Instead of strict 18 political parties as it is now, even though they can still register some more political parties, they probably see it as a bit restrictive. But nobody says you cannot join any of those political parties. But the voice of opposition in Nigeria is loud. So when opposition sees you carry water and coming towards him, he will shout that you want to pour that water on me, even if you are just passing by. So that's the kind of thing that catches the attention of all these rating agencies.
Okay.
So that's why I said it's mainly about perception. Many of them may not be true, because statistics sometimes, they are like bikini. what they show is revealing. What they fail to show is actually very intriguing.
Okay. According to this report, many Nigerians have lost confidence in the third arm of government, which is the judiciary. And the worst is that in Nigeria's correctional centers, awaiting trial inmates comprising 64% of Nigeria's total custodian population, far outnumbered convicted inmates. Some spend years in detention than they should have if convicted. The political rights of Nigerians have also been viciously assaulted. Currently, Nigeria is tilting towards a one-party state.
I don't understand what they mean by tilting towards one-party state. The thing is, one party has taken over the whole area because they are powerful. So when in a country like Nigeria, when you have a Leviathan, you see everybody starts to gravitate because it's about power. So they believe that any politician that wants to go for an electoral contest, he wants to win. So we'll analyze and say which political party will best serve my ambition. So they gravitate towards it. I think it's always been like that. But it does not stop any other political party from organizing. So that's what they call gravitating towards one party state. If by instruments of state they say no other party must exist, that is one.
But according to this ranking, there is a systemic stifling of the opposition. Political meetings of some opposition parties have been violently disrupted. Recent elections have shown that the votes don't really count in Nigeria.
See, even the governing party, we have had their political meetings disrupted too. The disruption of political meetings could come from anywhere. It could be from members of the same party that are disgruntled. So it's not as if it is you against me every time. So that's why I said sometimes we need to analyze all these issues, because what people see is different from what goes on. I see an error does not become the truth by reason of multiplied propagation. And the truth does not become an error because nobody sees it. It was Mahatma Gandhi that said it. And it encapsulates what I've just said. Most of the time, you see things and you assume that this is what is happening. That's the other analogy I gave the other time. When you, as a member of a political party, you are carrying your water, you want to walk past, the person in opposition will see you and say, you want to pour that water on me. And the moment he says it, everybody will pick on it and say, that's how they have been pouring water on everybody. So that's the way it is. It is perception. So that's what is forming this. So I don't think the political space in Nigeria is that cramped. But when we are talking of corruption, then you can't deny that. Because it is everywhere. You can see it. It is glaring. You can see it at the police station. You can see it in the judiciary. You can see it everywhere. Every facet. You can see it on the road. You can see it with artisans. You send someone, you send someone to go and buy something for you outside. The thing is 10 naira. They will come and tell you, so you can see it in all facets of life. And it has already become a culture. So what we should do, or what government should do, is that they should begin a process whereby they now work smart, not even hard. I told you the other day when I felt pressed, I wanted to pee when I was
outside the country.
Outside the country. And I was looking everywhere for where I could do it. Then I saw one corner and I said, at last. But after I wanted to do my thing, I just looked up, I saw cameras. I saw camera 1, 2, 3. I said, Even if I do it here, they will catch me. I quickly maintained and went back. So that's one of the ways that they maintain their own culture. They are working smart. They know that they cannot be everywhere at the same time. So that's why they put cameras on the road. In some neighborhoods, in fact, most neighborhoods, they will tell you you must have a CCTV camera in front of your house. Yeah. It is mandatory. It's not as if I don't have money to. If you can't do it, get out of this neighborhood. You must. Because any form of criminality can happen within that space. The police are not there every time.
All the time.
So what they do is they come there, they come to your area and say, can I see what went on the footage of the CCTV? And that's how they solve crimes. And I've also mentioned the other one about BLT. You know, so we have to start thinking smart.
Okay, but for this particular one, which is judicial corruption, as highlighted in this ranking, and the fact that many Nigerians have lost confidence in the third arm of government, which is the judiciary. So how do we adopt your kind of suggestion to tackle judicial corruption in the country for Nigerians to start having confidence again in the third arm of government?
See, it is about leadership at every level. We have the Chief Justice of the Federation. We have who is also in charge of the NJC. So NJC is in charge of disciplinary measures for judges. You don't expect the president or the governor to come and be doing that for you. So when you have people like that and they are not working in line with your dictates, you have to find a way to get them fired. The other day we were discussing about IGP Tujidisu. I said it's a disciplinarian. You see that things will start changing gradually, you know, because he will want to maintain discipline. Because he has to breathe down the neck of commissioners of police. And the commissioners of police will breathe down the neck of DPOs. So that's the way it goes. And the moment I discover that you are not doing your own work, I'll fire you. The same thing with all this. When I pass in Ikorodu Road, for instance, I see a lot of military men passing BLT lane. As the head of the, let's say, brigade of guards, I will call my people and instruct them. Anybody that is found on the BLT lane, for whatever reason, you are a gunner. I will call them myself. You will see. Things will start changing. So it's mainly at the leadership level. So when the leaders, because we cannot stop with what we continue to tolerate. So when the leader says, I'm putting my foot down, that you have to do this thing.
And the followers can see.
And the followers can see. Because you have to be exemplary. You cannot just be mouthing it, saying, do what I say, not what I do. You have to be exemplary. They have to see you do it. So it is the funny thing is, it is the Nigerians themselves that are complaining, that are complicit in everything that is happening. You will see at the level of civil service, when they say, go and undertake this project, the project is going to cost 10 million. Number one, you have already shortchanged the state by saying, it is going to cost 15 million. They now say, state now says, okay, let's find a way to do it for 13, 14 million. You are handed over the 14 million to go and undertake that project. And then at the end of the day, you now spend 2 million on the same project. So definitely, the
quality will be poor?
Everything will be poor. And then they'll be forced to review it the following year. If they had told you, go and put bitumen or asphalt on this road, and then you go there and you reduce the quality of asphalt just because you want to make money. by the time rain falls, the asphalt will wash away, the one you have done. So you have to do it again next year. And it is that same person who's a civil servant that will complain that government is not doing anything. They have forgotten that they are the government, because the government is not one person. It is everybody that works within that space.
That is government.
Even here, you are supposed to run this program, this interview program. They are supposed to be like, you are supposed to start by 11. And then by 12, they are still calling you that, where are you? They're saying, it is this traffic. But you knew there will be traffic. So sometimes...
So I should have left home earlier.
Exactly. So that's the way we show responsibility. We must be responsible for our actions. Everybody that keeps calling government, they are doing one bad thing or the other.
Okay, so for us to have a better ranking, maybe in 2027, let's look at the issue of corruption. The other day, I saw the former Accountant General of the Federation stealing as much as 600 and I can't remember the figure now, and it's been sentenced to 72 years.
I think it's just about 160 something million or so.
So it's been sentenced to 72 years imprisonment now, and it will run concurrently. Likewise, the case of the former Attorney General, Malami. When it comes to the application of the rule of law in this country, the law that governs the poor is different from the one that governs the rich.
It depends. Actually depends on the crime, because you see, most of the time the poor.
Because you see somebody stealing goats or yam, and they will tell him, take him to Kirikiri.
Yeah, because he has no representation. Most of the time in the court of law, it's about representation. So when you don't have anybody representing you, they will railroad you into jail.
So this ranking is not wrong to have said that
absolutely
Nigerians have lost confidence in the third arm of government.
Absolutely,
which is the judiciary.
You see, let's be realistic. Even in the US, it's like that. If you commit a crime and you don't have good representation, you might go to jail, even if you are not guilty like that. So that's why people pay a lot. You'll hear them say, I'm going to get the best lawyers. They are saying it for a purpose. Because there are some lawyers that are skilled in areas of getting you out of trouble. And they are not cheap. So many people, what will happen in situations like that in Nigeria? Say, okay, let us go to the Office of Public Defender and get you a lawyer. A lawyer who is not charging you anything, who is not taking, you are not even mobilizing. Yeah. So how can that kind of lawyer be committed to your cause?
Because it is free.
It is free. You are not even making adjustments and saying, okay, let me buy you breakfast, so that I know you have come a long way to come and defend me for nothing. Let me buy you breakfast. Let me, you can't even afford it. So for a poor man, being poor alone is already a disease. And if you now get into trouble, they will compound your poor state. So it's like that all over the world. It's not peculiar to Nigeria. It's not peculiar to Nigeria. So it's also about the perception. Nigerians will shout. They will cry out and say, this is what they are doing to me. And it is all over the space. When we talk of, 230 million people within here, and we have a lot of them in diaspora and everything, and Nigerians talk. So they will always hear our voice. If somebody from Cape Verde speaks, who will listen? It's true. So even if things are happening there, you won't know. Because the population is just as much as Shita and Surulere. You will know. So for us being this big and being this loud, they will hear us everywhere. It doesn't stop the people in authority from making attempts, and we have spoken about it, making attempts to be smart in the way they tackle these issues. We know Nigeria is big. We know it's not an easy job. But that's why you are there. So we need to continue, to pinch government that this is the way you should do it. This is the way to go about it. The other issue about BRT, you'll see if they do it now, they will, and that one is successful. They will think of another way to counter some other things. So that is essentially how governance is. But that people will not shout, Nigerians will not shout for anything, especially now that the opposition is bitter, frustrated, and they are feeling that they don't have a stake. That's why they call Nigeria zoo, even though they are living in it. So all of us now, they don't care what happens because they feel frustrated, they feel ostracized from the mainstream. You'll discover that the same people that are shouting today as opposition, if their favorites get into power,
things will change.
Nigeria will become a country of saints to them. That is perception too.
But these are the same set of people that have had opportunities to serve Nigeria at different times.
That's what I'm telling you. That's when their favorites are there. When they are there, everything is all right. But when they are not there, the din will be heard everywhere. Because they are out of the system. So they are out of the system because they also want to get back into the system so that they can be able to call the shots. I mean, we have seen it every time. There was a time that the president today was also outside. In fact, he was the last man standing in the Southwest in 2003. He was the last man standing. He did all the shouting. But one thing he did that these other people are not doing is that he was working smart. He was planning.
And he was engaging.
He was engaging. He was doing everything possible to get back to the lost grounds. Even through the courts, through everywhere, and he was trying to see how he could form a political, a formidable opposition and all that. So he was galvanizing everybody towards it. But this one we have, they are not doing that. They are not organizing. They just want to shout because I don't think they have the organizational skills that goes with it. But that's essentially what is happening now.
So in concluding this conversation on the global governance performance, with those indices that I mentioned earlier, the rule of law, corruption, political rights, and which other one now? Press freedom.
Press freedom.
What should be the way forward for us as a society?
Yeah, because those things have been highlighted, and we know ourselves, where we have gone wrong. We know that we are corrupt, and we talk it every day. That's why people, when governments come, they say they are fighting corruption, because they know that it's a disease that has to be fought. But the way you fight it is another matter. So, and you have to go through the judiciary. So cleansing the judiciary. You know that when President Buhari came the other time, he was eager
to fight corruption.
To fight corruption. He arrested judges and all that. Those who are complaining today are those who will say those judges have fundamental human rights, that you can't just arrest them and put them in gaol. So at a stage, he just got frustrated too. I said, I've tried my best. So the way to go about it is get the heads of those organizations, particularly judiciary, the police, and all those people involved in the administration of justice, to get them to do the work correctly by pinching their heads. The head of the organizations, those are the people that you breathe on their neck. So let those ones too breathe on others' neck. That's how to cleanse it little by little. They will now start coming up with ideas that are ingenious that will help them to sanitize the system. Otherwise,
all right, that's a fine place to end the conversation with Lukman Owolabi this morning on Nigeria's Global Governance Performance Index. Of course, like we mentioned earlier during this conversation, the 2026 ranking is out, and unfortunately, Nigeria is nowhere to be found among the 10 best governed countries in Africa. So we hope that come 2027, some of these parameters highlighted in the report, press freedom, political rights, which other one? Rule of law and corruption would have been better by the time the 2027 ranking is out on Global Governance Performance Index. We thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure.
All right, we'll go on another short break. When we come back, Adebimpe will be standing by to take you through our conversation from the Lagos angle. Do stay with us.